These two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
All right. Well, it's Mackey and Judd, the OG Score North podcast here. And everyone's daubers are a little down in Vikingsville. It feels like the last, because this team is unbelievable, by the way. Every time you think, all right, here they're on a path to here, they're going to go and do this, right? They got their young quarterback. He's going to step in. I mean, hell, happened to Teddy Bridgewater in a totally different way, like 10 years ago. There's just always something around the corner with this franchise.
Yep.
And this week was no different. It's a different team, different coaches, but it's always like something lurking around the corner.
Every time that you think things are on track. But you know what? It's also the nature of the entire league. Now, it would be tough, but imagine being a Bengals fan right now, right? Oh, like, you've got one of the best quarterbacks in the game.
Yeah.
And he's probably
propping
done.
Your franchise up, by the way.
Yeah, and he's probably done now. They said best case, Schefter was saying this on the Monday Night Halftime Show, best case he's back mid-December, and that's if everything goes perfectly.
Yeah. Yep. So there's a lot to unpack. We're going to get to the most passionate Vikings fan we know here in just a moment. But Randy Vikes 69's appearance today, presented by MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Judd.
And they are very proud to sponsor the greatest of all Vikings fans. And by the way, if you're thinking about going ductless, which perhaps Randy might be, what he needs to do is he needs to call MSP because they're a Mitsubishi Elite Diamond contractor for ductless older home no ductwork. That's no problem. MSP specializes in smart and efficient ductless installs, and these systems aren't cheap, so you're going to want it done right. MSP is going to help you make the best decision for your home and your budget, quiet, efficient, running perfectly. MSP serving the Twin Cities for more than 100 years. Give them a call, 651-615-4292, or check out their website, callmsp.com. Callmsp.com. I've used them, and I'm going to tell you right now, they do great work. So call msp.com. Check it out online.
All right. He is the most passionate Vikings fan we know. He was a regular caller into the old original radio version of Vikings Vent Line back when you and I used to host it on 1500 ESPN radio.
Back after this.
His in-depth scouting work has correctly led him to nail multiple Vikings draft predictions. You can find him on Twitter or X at Randy Vikes 69. He is Randy in Cottage Grove. Randy, how you feeling here after a rough one on Sunday night?
I'm upset. I mean, how could you not be? I can't even call that a performance. That wasn't a performance. They took a steamer on the field. Prime time. Prime time. I got friends in other, in the mocking community. We got people all over the country follow different teams, and I got people, sending me a text saying, "What the hell? What's going on with your squad? What happened to JJ? I thought he figured it out in that fourth quarter, and I don't have a good answer."
So I feel like we obviously in this day and age, Randy, keep all types of stats. So here's a stat I'm curious from you. Did you end up sober after the game because of the lack of points? And how many times in your Vikings fandom have you gone to the bar to watch a game and come home completely sober?
Not many, I mean, way back in the day, we used to whoop it up pretty good. But even in, in like the late, like the 98 season, I was a pretty seasoned drinker already by that point. And when we run up the score, you better believe we ran up the buzz for sure. And now this is, we don't get anything for a field goal. You don't get a yag for a field goal. And I don't know any bars that do yags or shots for field goals. If there are, I'd like to know, because apparently that's all we can do. Now,
you should have done it when you hold the other team to a field goal when they get into the red zone. You could have celebrated like 5 times on Sunday night.
The fact of the matter is, KOC and Quezzy, I hope they spent a good amount of time Sunday after the game and yesterday taking a good look in the mirror. What do you see? What I see losers, and then you don't want to be losers. You know, just a dud performance, and they came out like they didn't give a damn. Meanwhile, you got Green Bay, running up the score. They signed this, they trade for this stud, this Micah Parson, and now that they're looking like they're going to go undefeated. So it's not a good start to the year. I got a bone to pick with an awful lot of guys.
Well, maybe that's a good segue here because when the Vikings win, Randy jumps on our podcast and gives us the stud stable. They haven't lost that much in the last year. They barely lost. They only lost to 2 teams. So this is going to be the first dud stable of the 2025 season. So Randy, we'll give you the floor. Yeah, we'll give you the floor here. Fire up your first dud stable of 2025.
This is an unfortunate reality, is that, and then they're right. I didn't do many of these last year. We only had to do 2, and then the playoff one, of course, was a complete dud. That's a lot more what this felt like. It's a lot more what this felt like. So I'm gonna start. I sent out a tweet about a couple days before the game, and I said a lot of these players taking a little rest Sunday. You watch. This is a trap game, and old Randy was right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with, there's only 17 games on this thing, and now we drop a cake one, and probably got the quarterback hurt because we couldn't protect his ass. Mm-hmm. So Christian Darrisaw, you're number 1 with a bullet right here. You're a dud. Get out there. That's a short season.
Yeah,
short season. Get out there. Darrisaw.
What if he's not ready to play?
Yeah, 2 torn ligaments.
If it was the playoff game, would he go?
Judd, do you think if it was a playoff game, Darrisaw would have played? I think Randy might have a point.
Boy,
every game matters, Jeff.
And it's funny, like you think it's not a playoff game until you get to the end of the season, and you're like, boy, we just needed that 1 win, and we would have been in the playoffs.
I feel like it's very personal to attack a guy that is
keep the quarterback upright. Can't keep him upright. Now he can't play either. So Darrisaw, you're a dud.
All right,
Darrisaw, you're a dud. And Andrew Van Ginkels, you made a lot of big plays last year. We're talking about jumping routes, pick sixes to the house, as they say. It's pretty hard to do that when you're in sweatpants. So Van Ginkels, same thing for you, for Darrisaw. Take a peek in the mirror. Ask yourself if you want to be a professional who plays when it matters, or if you want to, do a little ice pack and a yoga. Van Ginkels, you're a dud.
Wow.
Oh, yoga? Are you recommending yoga for Van Ginkels?
Now some of the guys who are on the field, and this is a pathetic showing by a lot of guys. Number 1, we're going to start with a guy who, and by the way, I heard now that he's hurt. So Aaron Jones, just because there's a new running back in town doesn't mean you can't do anything. He didn't take your lunch. He didn't take your job, did he?
Not yet.
Now, as far as I can tell, you're still on the depth chart, number 1. Feel free to break one. Feel free to bust one. Feel free to help your quarterback loosen things up a little bit back there. Make them respect the run. You're just dilly-dallying around, letting guys blow right by you for the sack. Aaron Jones, you're a dud.
Yeah, I mean, he does feel like he needs a little maybe kick in the hammy here when he comes back.
At least he played.
Yeah. This culture of not playing is I'm kind of with Randy. It's kind of disturbing.
JP Romo, we had you on our squad. You could have stuck around. We went with Will, the big thrill, Reichert. Yeah. But you come back here and you don't have any respect for us, and you keep banging them through like that. Go ahead and yank one. Go ahead and thank us for the time that you spent here, and you wouldn't have a job right now if we didn't give you a little showcase. So JP Romo, you don't need to run it up like that. Be professional. Be respectful. You're done.
Of all the guys that you could pick on, you're now picking on the Falcons players. I mean, I think there's a lot more Vikings here, Randy.
I'll get into him, and don't you worry, Jeff. This guy. In fact, let's do it right now. 1 week ago, you played 3 quarters of trash football.
Oh man!
And you came on in the fourth quarter, and everyone wanted to as Dennis Green says, crown his ass. Well, right now, the crown looks like a Burger King kids meal crown. It's flimsy. It's made out of paper, and apparently so is his ankle. So you go, you're going and having babies. You were able to show up for that, but you can't show up for the big game, the huge game. No, just because your high school coach isn't in the stands, just because just because your high school, little cheerleader friends aren't. No, JJ, you're be a man. Well, it's time to be a man and step up and be a quarterback in the league. The league, they call it the league for a reason.
Yeah.
And right now, you're looking like you don't belong. You're bouncing passes to Jefferson, who's gonna get real tired of it real quick here. So right now, JJ McCartney, go ahead and take a week and ice that thing. And you better hope Carson Wentz doesn't put up some numbers, because right now you might be on the outside looking in. You're a dud.
Yeah.
JJ McCartney.
Boy, that is.
Love him on the base.
Ordinarily I might feel inclined to defend the young quarterback here that I am still buying long-term stock for. But to Randy's point, you can have more kids. You're never going to get week 2 Sunday Night Football 2025 back. All right.
Yeah.
Against the Falcons.
Against the Falcons, you guys.
Rico and Collinsworth.
They're good. And by the way, they're a good team. They're well coached. Speaking of coaches, here's a guy who decided apparently we're just going to go ahead and let Bijan Robinson just gash us.
Yeah, Bijan.
Let's just let Bijan gash us.
Bijan.
And so that's what he decided to do. He decided we're gonna load up on Michael Penix Jr. That's the guy, and you're gonna let Bijan gash you. I don't know, Brian Flores. I know you had a lot of guys missing, a lot of guys who said they needed their ice bath and their rub downs, but right now, you got to figure out a scheme that makes people guess, because it's not working right now. And Bijan Robinson just cruised all over the place, all over you, because you're a dud.
Yeah, I mean Bijan was tough to tackle. He's got
Bijan's a real good player.
The battering
and
ram
finally,
legs. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not done.
This is a guy who when it's going well, and it went pretty well last year, 14 times went pretty well. He likes to rah it up, likes to pump it up, likes to go give his little post gamers and hype it and get jacked up and give out his game balls. Well, right now the only balls he's giving out are the ones tucked between his legs, and that's Kevin O'Connell.
I don't think he's giving them out though.
Kevin, your playbook is a complete mess. If you don't believe in this kid, then you got to give him dump offs. You got to throw some screens to Jones. Throw some screens to Jones.
I mean, they tried, and Jones dropped a screen pass that would have probably gone for 30 yards.
He's already a dud.
It's true. Yeah,
Yeah, Phil.
If you don't believe in the kid, then don't pump his tires up with fake air. Okay, maybe this is a good chance to sit him down. Say you've had a year and a half on this thing to learn the whole thing, and apparently still don't know it. Well, simplify it then, or figure it out, or give the thing over to Wentz. Because at last I heard, this is a team that won 14 games last year, and it only got better. Added pieces all over the place, they said. Kwesi had a master class offseason, they said. Well, right now you're 1-1, and you're staring down a Bengals team that's thirsty. And you know what they want to drink on Sunday? They want to drink your coffee. They want to drink your coffee, KOC. So why don't you go ahead and make sure the lid is on tight, you're gripping to it tight, and you're chugging that. And get a lot of it, because you're going to need it to stay up late and get a game plan going. Because right now, at 1-1, staring down 1-2 with the Packers looking pretty damn good, KOC, you're a dud.
Wow. And
a lot of personal attacks.
He hung up.
Yeah, he always hangs up. He never sticks around to do a post-game show of his duds or studs.
Well, so the Bengals are thirsty, and they're looking to drink Kevin O'Connell's coffee.
Coffee, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? He's probably right about that. Just a nice, like, are we talking a black coffee? Are we talking a couple of things of sugar? Are we talking
I don't know.
espresso?
Is it iced coffee?
Well,
Is
that's what
it?
I'd be curious
It's going to be
about.
pretty warm in the Twin City. It's like 90 degrees today.
I know. I'd be curious about that. Yeah. We're blowing through this last stage, the last gasp, right, where summer comes back and it tries to get humid. Ugh.
Yeah, just like the Vikings offense, last gasp
It
of
is.
Carson Wentz.
I will say this though, the direction of things, I think, because it's just happened so quickly, the direction of things is a little bit
Jarring.
taking me aback a little bit. Yeah,
Me too. I feel like
it's taking me aback.
we've unpacked a lot of it on Purple Daily. Ventline was 2 hours of trying to unpack, and then we slept on it, and we did the Monday episodes, State of the Vikings with Jeremiah and Doogie. But there's a couple of things we haven't even fully unpacked yet. Let's do some statements here. It is a Statements Tuesday also on Mackey and Judd. After we talk about some great pizza, a Green Mill pizza was consumed in the Mackey household this weekend, and it was absolutely phenomenal. So Green Mill Pizza, that iconic Green Mill brand that, if you're a Minnesotan, you're definitely familiar with Green Mill restaurants over the years. But that tavern-style pizza can now be found in the freezer section of your local grocery store. In addition to that, soft breadsticks and sauces, Green Mill restaurant pizzas. You can learn more at greenmillfoods.com. Also, a shout out to Federated Mutual Insurance Company. So Federated has been around for 120 years, helping small to medium-sized businesses like a great offensive line, certainly a better one than you're seeing on the field the last couple weeks for this team. But they specialize in protecting your company's reputation, workplace, employees, and financial assets. Again, for small to medium-sized businesses, the backbone of America, if you will. And they also work with next-generation business owners. So if you just took over your family business, or maybe you're a younger business owner looking for some guidance, go to federatedinsurance.com to find out what they can do for you. Federatedinsurance.com. I'll throw this out as a statement to you, because we've touched on it a little bit here, but I see so many Vikings fans, now that McCarthy's hurt for a few weeks, skipping over Carson Wentz to get to Max Brosmer. And I've seen the J.J. McCarthy is to Trey Lance as Max Brosmer is to Brock Purdy comparisons. So my first statement is, I will admit it. I am Brosmer curious. I am Brosmer curious.
Ooh.
I think there's a reason why he was undrafted, athletic ability, arm talent.
Right.
But maturity, mentality, preparation, leadership, all of these sort of intangible qualities, he had them at Minnesota, the Gophers. PJ Fleck pumps out NFL players. He pumps out leaders. You can rip PJ Fleck for some things, in-game coaching. Max Brosmer was ready. Yeah. Don't get us started against Cal. But Max Brosmer came in as a grown adult leader, was a work ethic guy all throughout the offseason, and the things he is good at, arm talent-wise, accuracy, are things that mesh really well with Kevin O'Connell's offensive system. So I'm also Wentz curious because of just the long list of quarterbacks like him that have thrived as Vikings. But call me Brosmer curious. I'm Brosmer curious.
I mean, I like him, and I was super impressed. Am I Brosmer curious for a game like in the coming weeks? I don't know. But I mean, I certainly have thought that this guy could be the backup to next season. And would it shock me if he plays in a game at some point and proves to be competent? Absolutely not. I think I'm thrown because we're 2 weeks in, which is incredibly early. McCarthy has, for 7 of 8 quarters, looked lost. The Vikings are supposed to win now. They're built to win now. And yet I am so hesitant. So and I got a bunch of, when we did the emergency J.J. McCarthy's hurt episode, I got a ton of Twitter feedback when you asked me the question about Carson Wentz, and if he plays well, would they keep him in there? But the reality is this, it's 2 games in. I understand that. But I think where I'm torn, and I think O'Connell probably is too, is if Carson Wentz can run this show, how do you stop the train? Like if he's running the show, and I don't even mean he's going to be a Pro Bowl quarterback, okay? I understand there are issues here, but he's done it before. And if he is playing well and they are winning and McCarthy comes back, I don't know with this current team. If you didn't have a great team, then you just put McCarthy back in, no questions asked. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a really interesting potential conundrum, but it sort of throws me too because I have two very different thoughts, which is one, I don't know if Carson Wentz is playing well, how you yank him, but I also very much feel that McCarthy deserves an opportunity, if not now, at some point soon, that goes beyond 8 quarters of football. I'm talking this out. Here's my problem. I'm a Vikings therapist, but all therapists need therapists.
That's true.
Like all therapists have a therapist to help them.
Right, because you know what I would need after listening to people's problems all day? Someone to talk to about how terrible that is.
Exactly.
So and we can keep unpacking this throughout the weeks, but I think one area, if I could be your sports therapist for a second, you are caught up in how you should. A good therapist will tell you that you got to stop using the word should because you're projecting a reality that isn't the case. Like you need to be comfortable or operate in a reality that isn't futuristic or whatnot. And you've been saying like, well, it's only been 2 weeks. And so there's this tug of war of how you should feel after only 2 weeks of football.
Yep.
But think about how much the circumstances have changed for the Vikings in those 2 weeks. The infrastructure that you were banking on to create insulation for this young quarterback has kind of evaporated without a left tackle, your second wide receiver. Now your center has another concussion. It's like the 4th of his career. And just the infrastructure is a little bit more rickety. They lost a game that you didn't really expect them to necessarily, a home game against the Falcons in which they were favored. So now their playoff chances are down to 20% according to ESPN's FPI. So they're a little bit more desperate after week 2 than maybe they would have been if they started 2-0 or if they weren't so ravaged by injuries. Mm-hmm. And on top of all of it, and there's reasons why he didn't play well in his first 2 starts, but J.J. McCarthy did not look very good. He looked terrible, in fact, in 7 of the 8 quarters. It doesn't mean that he's a bust forever or that he's not going to be a 10-year solution, but it means that for this year's team right now in this moment, it doesn't look like a fit for like if your goal is to win 11 or 12 games immediately. I mean, obviously he's hurt now, so he's not going to be part of it for a few weeks.
Sure.
In addition to all of that, your infrastructure projects to get better when Darisaw and Jordan Addison come back at some point in the next 2 weeks. But Carson Wentz is going to be the beneficiary of that infrastructure getting better, not J.J. McCarthy, at least in the short term. Mm-hmm. And I brought this scenario up to Doogie on our bonus Purple Daily episode. Nobody thought outside of the walls of this podcast and Judd's Camp Notes, we thought Sam Darnold's got some juice and this is going to be interesting a year ago. But the football world who wasn't following Vikings training camp thought, well, I mean, what could this team really be up to? They got Sam Darnold at quarterback. He came out his first 3 games in Kevin O'Connell's system, resurrected his career. He had a 117 passer rating out of the gate in those first 3 games. Uh-huh. There is a world in which Carson Wentz, who has shown a much higher ceiling and peak and was a higher draft pick than Sam Darnold, there is a world in which he comes out and carves it for 2 or 3 games, and the Vikings are 4-1 going into the bye week.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it.
I do wish now, in retrospect, with how things have unfolded, that Wentz had gone through training camp. Like
you'd have a better feel for
absolutely.
How he operates. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because the problem is Sam Howell was just a waste of time. Like it was just so clear he was not going to make this team, right? And so, like, if Carson, and I think the story goes, I think the background is that the Vikings did approach Carson before they traded for Howell. And I think that we've talked about this. It appears that he said, I'm going to chill here until I potentially get an opportunity. But, like he's been here, 3 weeks now. He got no training camp time. So I do wish, in retrospect, with where things are headed for Sunday, that he had that. Because he got a ton of snaps. Carson Wentz wouldn't have got nearly as many snaps, but to what you said earlier, Phil, the Darnold revelation started in training camp. It's like, oh, okay, this dude's arm is really good. And that's the one thing I wish. Now, here's an interesting thing, though. So McCarthy and the offense were so bad, and McCarthy was so bad that, rightfully so, unfortunately, we focused on him. But did you look at the PFF defensive grades for who didn't grade out well?
Yeah, it's
Javon Hargrave was the worst defensive graded player at 30.4. Jonathan Allen, 41.5, was the second worst. And the third worst, I think we might have a problem here again, was Ivan Pace at 43.6. But Hargrave and Allen jump off the page like that. Here's why it worries me. They are coming off injuries, and they're long in the tooth. Now, Hargrave was great in week 1. He got a couple of sacks, so hopefully this was just a one-game thing. But, it's interesting. There's a lot of talking points off of this game that McCarthy sort of caused us to look away from.
There are. Yeah. It's, the eye test, even before looking at the PFF grades, told me that, okay, that run defense is a problem.
Pace, that worries me a lot.
Yeah, and Pace
is the Boomer he?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, Pace was undrafted for a reason too, and it's because there were some limitations physically and in terms of his ability to cover tight ends and running backs in coverage in the second level. So you're seeing some of those things maybe be exposed. I think Ivan Pace has been a great find for the Vikings as an undrafted free agent. But he's probably not a guy that you're going to give a second contract to, especially having drafted Kobe King. So, and Hargrave and Allen are worth keeping an eye on. They both had a ton of pressures in week 1. They graded out poorly, especially in the running game, as did everyone in week 2. But those guys are right up next to the age cliff, and that's part of the gamble. I was totally down for the gamble, by the way, because I think if those guys can even give you 10 or 12 games, you got enough depth behind them. Okay, Levi Drake, Rodriguez, Jalen Redmond. But you're right. The quarterback discussion has overshadowed a lot of other things that should probably be rising to the forefront as well going into this Bengals game. So give me one more statement here from you.
Well, I'm gonna go to the team in town here that's kicking some ass.
Oh, the Lynx?
No, them too. That's great. No, I'm gonna go to Target Field, not Target Center. Take that, Yankees. You see what happens when you laugh at us? Simeon Woods Richardson shoves.
Is that his best ever start?
And the Twins, it has to be up there. And the Twins put a 7-0 hurting on the Bronx Bombers, who were trying. You know what? The tides are turning. I can feel it right now. The tides are turning. The Yankees Twins, the table is about to be flipped. That's right. I did see a tweet that, and I didn't go, that Target Field was predominantly, not surprisingly, Yankees fans.
Okay, I was going to say, what was the attendance in that game last night?
I didn't look at the paid attendance. I just saw a tweet that said it's mostly Yankees fans.
I'm curious here. Yeah, I mean, it's... Hey, listen, if maybe that was the game that gets everything turned around for the next 20 years of Twins-Yankees matchups. But yes, Simeon Woods Richardson was a stud. Brooks Lee, I feel like every time I rip Brooks Lee on a Twins show, State of the Twins Monday, it's like the next day he hits 2 home runs or does something crazy.
Yep.
It was 22,000 on the nose, basically. 22,000 was the attendance last night for Twins-Yankees. I'll throw it, since we're talking Twins for a couple minutes here. Austin Martin remains an interesting piece to this thing going forward. He's a former top 5 overall pick. Mm-hmm. He has currently, because he's gotten regular playing time for 2 months. Defensively, he's kind of an adventure. Base running, he's an adventure. But he is a throwback on-base machine. He has an on-base percentage just a tick below 400. And he can hit the ball to all field. It's funny, he actually had 4 RBIs last night, rising his total for the season to 6. He now has 6 RBIs on the season.
Nice.
But so for all his little flaws, and he's 26, and he's yet to really fully click as a former top 5 overall pick, he is there on base. Him and Luke Keyshaw get on base a lot, and Keyshaw has average and power that kind of goes above and beyond what Austin Martin does. But I remain, if I'm Max Brosmer curious on the football side, I remain Austin Martin curious on the Twins side of things.
So you nailed it. Like, button up the running. Like, just button it up, dude. Don't do dumb things.
Yeah.
Defensively,
He stole 2 bases last night.
well, he's got speed, and defensively in left field last night, he made a great play. Went into the stands and made a fantastic catch. I remember going back, I think this was at least 3 years ago. Doogie had a twin source at the time who said that they were working with Martin to try to get more power and that they had changed his swing. And that came full circle when the Star Tribune, I think it was 2 weeks ago, did a story that Martin said, yeah, I finally abandoned that. I just went home, I think it was last offseason, and said, screw this, and went back to my swing. But he said he had to reconstruct his swing. So like he couldn't just go back to his old swing. He had to find it. And I think if you start to let guys play and do what they do, yes. But I always was like, Austin Martin does not look like a guy that should have a ton of pop. So why don't you just let him do what he does best, which is get on base, probably slaps the ball a bit, right? But he's got speed, and it appears either he told the Twins, screw you, I'm doing this, or the Twins were like, okay, we give up. You do your thing.
There is value in just having a guy that gets on base 40% of his plate appearances, especially in a lineup where there's a bunch of Cody Clemens running around who can hit a home run or two here and there, but they're never on base. So
it feels like we're finding that out again. Like it feels like we're going back to that, which I'm all for.
The ability to get on base, even like if you go back to the Bill James era of baseball analytics and Theo Epstein and Billy Beane in the early 2000s, the Moneyball kind of era, the math will tell you that getting on base is the biggest driver of scoring runs in baseball, more so than slugging percentage. You think, well, slugging percentage and home runs that's what creates runs. Yeah, like it's a huge part of the equation, but getting on base and having chains moving and avoiding outs is if you were to go back and look at the highest run scoring teams in baseball over the years, predominantly you will see that they are ranked higher in on base percentage than they are even in slugging percentage. Now they're probably ranked high in both categories if you're leading the league in runs.
Yep.
So there is even if Austin Martin has some flaws here and there's room for a dude who can just get on base all the time and who has some speed to his game if they can curb some of the mistakes.
Yep. And then when baseball, was it 2 years ago now, said, you know what we're going to do? Expand the bases. The stolen base came back. Now, word just reached the Twins recently. So they finally got the carrier pigeon, showed up at Target Field and told them. But I will say, as a fan of baseball, it's more enjoyable to watch guys get on base.
Yeah.
Like the home run is cool. It's great. But I think just as a fan of like the pace of play, I would prefer to see guys get on base, steal bases. We don't have to go back to bunting full time and stuff like that. But there's just certain things that are probably a bit more entertaining. And plus, if guys are on base, there's more ability to create mistakes by the fielders.
100%. It also puts the pitcher in the stretch instead of the windup, for starting pitchers, and it creates little holes in the infield here and there. So, Austin Martin curious. Well,
the Brosmer one's a lot more. I mean, that's a very interesting.
Dude, he is one hit away from playing on Sunday.
Well,
now,
I mean, 2023, right? Because Jaron Hall came back in for, was it Dobbs who got hurt or Mullins got hurt?
Both got hurt. Yeah,
we've been here before.
Yeah, or they might have even had Jaron Hall. They might have just like bumped him up for a minute on the depth chart just to see. But
he started the game against the Falcons. He suffered a concussion. Then and Mullins was hurt, so Dobbs came in. But then there was one where I think they had to bring Hall back after deciding not to play him. So yeah, I mean, if Max Brosmer plays, it's not like KO has not faced this before.
Yep, he has coached through quarterback chaos before. So, all right, he's the sports dad, Judd. I'm Phil, and this is Mackey and Judd, the OG Score North podcast. We'll see you for some Write That Down predictions tomorrow.